Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another set of Genshin Impact reactions. Today we have two of them from Lightning in the comments. This is Sorrow of Strays and What Now Remains. The only information I got from Lightning on these were that they're ambient songs and that he doesn't want me to have any more information on them so he can really test how well I do guessing the mood out of a song, since these have like no information given in them specifically. So I guess I'm going to listen to these and do my thing, and I'm not expecting much different because I usually just listen to music and guess what's going on anyway, but Lightning wants me to have a challenge here, so let's have a challenge, shall we? And without further ado, let's go! Kind of got a mysterious vibe going on right off the bat. Ooh. That was a very aggressive intro for the flute. Very aggressive on the chuffing, too. Very aggressive. That's a mood setter. But it's still a little soft at times. Pointing out kind of the obvious here, but big shocker, it's giving me hints. Since these are ambience, I'm putting my mind in a different mental space. I'm kind of trying to like envision something that would be showing up alongside a song like this. So far, the words I'm getting are like desolate, tired. I think Forgotten works, but I feel like that's too obvious given the name of the album. Lonely is a good alternative, though. That was gorgeous. In the saddest way. I think Forlorn might be another good alternative to Forgotten or Lonely in this context as well, because that's just the energy I'm getting from this song. This had a beautiful haunting sound to it, and it definitely felt like a land ravaged by some tragedy in the past, and maybe they're still dealing with that in some way. That's a generalized kind of thought. You could say that, I'm sure, about a lot of this game. I've seen some screenshots of Genshin and some light gameplay in my time, and that's really a lot of what I've seen is like barren wastelands or like beautiful greenery with bustling cities. And I assume between those bustling cities, there's parts of the world that are kind of like this, that have been forgotten, that are left to the wayside and dealing with the repercussions of something in their past, or maybe they're like cursed or something like that, where they're just kind of existing but struggling and not thriving. They are just trying their best to keep going. And there's also the possibility that these are filled with people who never really got a chance to leave, because obviously there's this aspect of any well thought out world where like the world isn't equal. Not everybody has the same opportunities and like lifestyle, and they can't just choose to go somewhere else. They have to stay where they are, and sometimes for generations. So it's very possible these families have lived in an area like this that feels so tired and forlorn and just broken down and kind of struggling with something. I'm getting a feeling of like a cloud above this area, like literally just kind of overcast in some way, shape, or form all the time. It just feels like this place would be kind of depressing to visit for one reason or another, and seeing that is probably what triggers this song. I feel like you walk into the area maybe for the first time, and this is kind of the introduction to that space, and the mindset is immediately placed on you where you're like, man, gosh, shit got real here, didn't it? Look what they're dealing with. And now you have to maybe help them. Maybe that's a side quest or something. Could be a main quest. I don't know that much. But what I do know is that this place, wherever it is, whatever is there, whoever lives there, if anyone, it's dealt with a lot in its past. I couldn't tell you if this is an open field and it's just supposed to be this kind of desolate wasteland feeling and it's just kind of cloudy, overcast, and barren and sad, or if it's like a city, a town that's been kind of ravaged by some constant threat its entire existence, and they just kind of deal with it and nobody knows how to stop it. I'm sure there's people who have tried, but that's also your job. You're the player here. You're the character. You're the main character. You deal with it. That's your problem, isn't it? Get on the side quest, all right? Get the job done. But I feel like that's exactly what this is, just a place that you feel like you need to help out. So that's why I'm feeling like there's probably a town involved, maybe a couple. I'm not sure exactly how big this world is or like how many cities would be next to each other that would be dealing with a constant threat like this. A literal overcast, something that's just there. It could be a dragon that like lives in a mountain right off to the side and the entire city feels like they can't do anything about that, so they just kind of live in fear all the time. Or it's something a little bit more natural. I could see that as well. The vibes of this really do give me that overcast, depressing kind of feeling. The walking outside and looking up at the sky and the rain starts to pour and you close your eyes, realizing that you're not going to be able to do this as easy as you hoped. I feel like that's the feeling of every single person that lives in this area. They did a really nice job at capturing that, and if that's not what this is, then sue me, because that's what it should be. But that's enough about that one. I hope I'm correct, but let me know, of course. But now I need to listen to What Now Remains, which as a name already gives me a hint. Like, that title is pretty direct with what its intent is. How accurate that may be to the song is a different story. Sometimes they do the whole, like subverted expectations thing, but I won't know if I don't listen. So let's get to that one. Ooh, I was gonna say it's more beautified, but then it went minor. Okay. Never mind. I thought this was gonna go up. It didn't. All right, still got the sad boy vibes going. Okay, just bouncing between those two. All right. Simple. Ooh. Oh, that's dark. That's some ghosty goo energy. Haunted house, maybe? Maybe not. It didn't lean into that darker stuff. It's leaning into the sad notes. Feels more like a floaty dance. It is more beautified, but just not in the way I thought. The separation on those notes there. Going down and going up. What could that mean? Ooh, that was pretty. Ooh, this one's gonna be difficult, actually. So we're still getting a similar, like, sad vibe, but this is in a much different way to the prior one. The last one definitely gave off the feeling that there was a constant there somewhere. It felt like there was an active threat. This one feels like it was truly forgotten. The other one felt like it was forgotten more like an abandoned sort of way. This felt like it was forgotten by time. There's a different vibe there by, like, one can be the cause of a major event happening, whereas the other could be the active case of the event happening. And those are very distinct despite not really sounding very different, because in the active threat, you have the threat. In the other one, it's probably something where, like, something wiped them out. Something took over this location, completely gutted the land, and now you're just seeing what is effectively a barren wasteland. Whereas the other one felt like a barren wasteland, but it was one with a constant feeling of dread hanging over it. This has much more of that like graveyard-esque feel to it, where it feels like something terrible happened here. It's almost totally similar, and like hear me out in this comparison, to the movie Mulan, and when they stopped singing A Girl Worth Fighting For and they arrive at that like location that they were supposed to be helping at and realizing everyone was already gone, dead, and that's so depressing. Sorry for the spoiler if you haven't seen the 1998 classic Mulan from Disney. Somehow, there you go, there's a little spoiler for you, but either way, very similar in tone, and I believe that that's a similar vibe here as a result. It is something where a travesty has happened, a true loss of humanity has happened here. This is the balance of this being sadness and the other being dread and fear. This is a landscape that was ravaged way in the past, has been left to its own devices, probably being overgrown and like being reclaimed by the land, you know? It used to have houses, maybe there's a few ruins scattered around or something like that, but largely it's just trees, grass, and if there are any building scraps left, there's just like vines growing crazy around them. Whereas the other one feels a little bit more put together, like there is still something constantly threatening the people or the creatures around there, and you have to figure out how to save it. Whereas this one, there's no saving it. It's done. It's been done. You're basically walking through a corpse. That's a different vibe completely. And this one was really interesting because I started at a completely different mental state. I thought this was gonna lift up and be a little bit more positive, and we were gonna be hearing something more like, oh, this is like a casual field, something more like a farm outside of an already small town, something that kind of gives you this little like, oh, this is kind of nice. It's a little quaint, but also very calm. It's serene is a good word for that. But then it got darker. It had that like ghost energy. I thought we were straight up going haunted house. Like the way that they tilted the keys and the scale there, I thought they were going to be going in a completely different like horror direction. When they decided to not do that and they lifted it back up, then dropped it back into the minor I was expecting initially. Like this one was a legitimate roller coaster. I went from this is going to be happy to, oh, this is going to be sad. Oh, this is going to be like depressing graveyard sad, little angry maybe. Like it had kind of that energy on it. Then it went back up into like maybe happy, maybe a little bit sad. And then it was like, oh, it's definitely sad. Oh, and that's where I was starting to get confused and why I wasn't sure if I should like commit to the whole sad thing. But maybe that was the song telling the story of what happened too. If you think about it in that context, the way that the song started, it was happy. Things were potentially going very well for a while, and then a tragedy struck at some point. Something went wrong, that like really heavy crank in the scale there where I thought it was going to be like ghosty and spooky. That might have been whatever travesty befall the land here. It might have been whatever wiped out whoever lived here or something like that. And then it went back up to, oh, the land is being reclaimed, but we have to remember where things are now. This one definitely had more of a storytelling feel than the other one. I got the vibes from the other one, but it still felt like that, like I said, was ongoing more than it had already happened. I think maybe that structure is what's making me think that this was in the past because it brought me through so many different emotions. I felt like I just read a book. This one was very well done. This one was a story in a 2-minute long song. Brilliant work there. I don't know who the composer was on these. I think the ones off this album were mostly Yu-Peng Chen, so it's probably Yu-Peng Chen, which also explains the brilliant storytelling in such a very small amount of time. But I also don't know. It's always hard to tell. They've done a really good job at having Yu-Peng Chen move on and replacing him in that way and keeping up with that legacy. They've done a great job, so I'm not sure what the release schedule of these albums are, if that would have been after him or something like that. I don't know, but it feels very much like him. So it very well might be. I'll have to check before I do the description with all my credits and stuff in it, but I'm very confident that it's probably him. But I think I've said all I can say about these ones. Some really nice work here. I really hope I'm correct on them. I hope that Lightning agrees that I did my best on the guesses, even if I got them wrong. I do my best every time, but ambience can be difficult because they do have to tell a lot with very little. So when you get songs that are this well done and this well crafted to get those vibes across, it's hard to get them wrong for me, because when they tell a story so clearly, my brain almost takes these songs and goes, that was a challenge, really? Like, give me something harder. But also at the same time, don't keep trying to find something harder for me to tear apart. It's not that I don't love a good challenge, I do, but at the same time, I don't know if there's really much you can do with composers this confident and this good at their job, and that's not issuing a challenge to you to find one either. It's just really a truth of their skill. It is a testament to who they are as composers and how well they do. They just do a good job. So if I'm wrong here, then so be it, but I have pretty good confidence that I'm right on these. They are really good at telling those stories. But I digress. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you have something else you want me to get to, by all means, drop it in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to them. Or if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!